Hey everyone, it's Kristen. So this is part three of the Wizard 93 series. Um, like I said, I have been working on my project. I think it's really close to being done, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it. I really hope you will subscribe to my channel so you don't miss it. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. Yeah, I can't wait to show you guys because yeah. Hopefully, you guys think it's as cool as I do. So we'll see, but soon. So make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss it because like I said, I'm really excited about it. I hope that you guys think it's as cool as I think it is. Um, anyway, so we're on this one. This is part three. This is the last part. There's just so much in here that I just wanted to touch on because I thought it was fun. Um, Anyway, so we're gonna talk about like some of the worst comic book issues from from the 80's and 90's, mostly the 80's, really. um, but before that, I wanted to like touch on what they considered like some of the best ones at the time. So, of course, No Man's Land, Batman, they gave it an A because it's a very different storyline. It's very compelling, very different than anything they've ever done before. So they really liked it. And Inhumans got an A minus because they really liked the storyline and that the characters were fleshed out. Like they're more three-dimensional than they've been. Um, which makes me think of the recent, well, not recent, but more recent than this, Inhumans TV series they did. Oh, that was bad. I mean, of course, I watched it because superheroes. Pretty much anything with superheroes that has to do with superheroes, like movies, TV shows, I'll watch it at least once to see what it is, to see what's going on. But yeah, just the characters were really, really flat. Like Lockjaw was awesome. That was the best part of that series. But the characters were flat. They didn't interact very well with each other. They just, they weren't fleshed out. We didn't care about them. We didn't have like we weren't given enough of a backstory to actually care about them and to know them. So know their sorry, something in my eye, motivations or anything. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was interesting that it got an A minus. When the actual show was terrible. Speaking of not caring about characters, so Martian Manhunter got a C. I think that's a C minus. It's pretty bad because they said, yeah, the character was really flat. Like we didn't care. Like they gave us no reason to care about the character, and he got like, even though he's really powerful, he got like grit, like C D-list villains. Like they made up this new villain, I guess, called Bette Noir. She's a vampire. You can see her. And they just were like, well, that's, basically, it wasn't good. But it was a spin-off from the, Just League of America #1 issue that was a huge bestseller. So they thought, well, because they reviewed 5 issues of this series and they're just like, it's just not good. So after 5 issues, they spent the first 4 issues retelling his origin and basically doing nothing. So they're like, it's not good. So, okay, the worst of the comic book stories of the 80's, mostly. Some 90's, but mostly 80's. So yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 149, the first spider clone. Oh, and if you if you know anything about Spider-Man and comics, people have been complaining about the Clone Wars and the clones for a really, really long time. Oh goodness. So the Jackal creates a clone of Spider-Man to fight Spider-Man and yeah, and one of them dies. And what Marvel tries to do in a future episode issue is say that the one that died was the real Peter Parker the Peter Parker that we thought was Peter Parker is actually Ben Reilly, the clone, all these years. And he is the real Peter Parker. It's very confusing. Anything with clones usually is. So basically, they're just saying, yeah, even though it's Peter Parker, it's not. It's Ben Reilly, who was supposedly the clone, but no, Peter Parker that died was the clone. It's very confusing. Nobody liked it. It was dumb. So speaking of dumb, I don't remember this issue. I mean, I love Alpha Flight because I love Snowbird. So I have quite a few issues. I don't have the entire run for sure. I'm pretty sure I don't have this issue because I don't remember reading this. And so basically, it's like the secret of Puck. And apparently, according to this, Puck used to be 6'6", and he's 71 years old because in the 30s he was an adventurer and he found this genie, and in order to save the world from this genie, he absorbed it into himself, and that caused him to be really short. I mean, I'm not lying. That's what it says. Talk about a stretch. I mean, just crazy. And they're like, Wizard says that still didn't explain the P on his chest, though, on his costume. And then they said this, they didn't like, they did a, bad reading and famous worst, first Monarch, which, okay, they set up this whole huge, storyline at DC, and they were teased that one Justice League member was going to turn into this huge villain, Monarch. And everyone thought maybe it was Captain Atom because they were, leaving clues and stuff. So they changed their minds and made Hawk of Hawk and Dove, whose series had just been canceled, as the big bad. Which a lot of people were very disappointed because to them, Hawk is maybe a C-list character, you know, not someone they not someone well known and that a lot of people care about. No offense. So they weren't happy with that. Oh, and this is also interesting. So Spider-Man he fights Firelord, who's a former herald of Galactus. So Firelord decides he wants pizza, just randomly, I want pizza. So he goes to Earth to get pizza, and Spider-Man sees him eating pizza, or, the reason he's on Earth is pizza. And basically he fights them and, defeats him by, punching him a lot or something like that. And, he's a former herald of Galactus. So, yeah. But Spider-Man's able to defeat him by punching him a bunch. So they didn't like that storyline either because it was pretty unbelievable. So, and they didn't like this one because for Avengers, 300th issue, which is, a milestone, really, because this is volume 1 of Avengers, they debuted a new team. Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic, Thor, the Captain, and Gilgamesh, the Forgotten One, which I really don't know anything about him, to be honest. It's in his name, people don't remember him. Anyway, so, a new team, and it's okay, that's not the greatest Avengers lineup that we've seen, but okay, they must be fighting someone really cool and powerful, but no, it's Nanny and the Orphan Maker, which if you don't know about Nanny, she's this crazy scientist who believed that created herself a battle suit, believes that young mutants should be saved from their evil parents. And the first young mutant she saved, she turned into Orphan Maker, by supplying him with a tech suit. I mean, so, and I think they did this because at the time, Franklin Richards, because Sue and Reed are on this Avengers team now. He was supposed to be a mutant. he was a mutant, then he wasn't a mutant, and then he was again, and he wasn't. They keep going back and forth, so I don't know. I think currently, right now, I think he's not a mutant, but I am not positive. If you want to tell me in the comments, I'd appreciate that because sometimes it's hard to keep up with everything. I know I don't know everything for sure. I know quite a bit, but I definitely don't know everything. Like, Gilgamesh the Forgotten One. Totally blank on who he is. Anyway, so they solve this, this problem. They defeat them in this one issue basically. It's a 64-page spectacular. So, I mean, they basically the people at Wizard who compiled this list are like, that's lame. Speaking of lame, first famous worst is for Catwoman's 50th issue. They did Catwoman armor. And you're like, what the heck? Like, why would Catwoman need armor? Because she's fighting a villain called Cybercat, and she thinks that she needs armor to defeat this villain. So for her 50th issue, it says celebrating 50 issues, she gets armor, which at the end of the issue, she realizes she's better without the armor. So this is the only issue I think that it ever appears in, which good riddance, because that's weird for her to have armor. Speaking of weird Batman stuff, so this villain is Magpie. Um, she she loves shiny things. Like I think a magpie is a bird, and they actually are attracted to shiny things. So I remember her being a villain on one of the later Batman animated series shows. I can't remember which one, but I vaguely remember her being a villain on that. Anyway, so she she is rigging up jewelry like necklaces to explode and kill like wealthy socialites. Don't know why. I guess just because she's just crazy, just whatever. I mean, I don't know. So yeah. So Batman and Robin defeat her with a big like shiny gem, basically. I mean, they distract her with a gem and then defeat her. So basically, just kind of a not so great villain. And then speaking of not so great, here's a not so great character. Apparently, this character, um, he gets bitten by like these blood-sucking aliens, and through that, he gets powers in order to like basically make anything bullets that he can shoot at people. Like he'd absorbed, like for example, this table, and then he could shoot that table like that he absorbed out as bullets or something. It got like he would call himself Gunfire. It got like 14 issues and then it was canceled, which I don't know. I mean, in this issue, he gets Deathstroke is in that issue, so that could be a possibility why people would buy it, but because it's Deathstroke, the Terminator annual, so he was in that, so people weren't buying it because of Gunfire, but they decided to do a spin-off and it lasted 14 issues. So they say this is bad reading, but I mean, okay, like anyway, it's where Captain America gets turned into a werewolf, so it's like Cap-Wolf. And they're saying that mostly because like the dialogue's pretty bad because in the issue he actually says, follow me everybody, but like Scooby Doo, like where he talks like what whoa instead of uh-oh, that sort of thing. Like so follow me everybody, but in a Scooby Doo voice, which I can't do that. But so that's why they're like blasting the issue because pretty much like every mutant or every werewolf in the Marvel universe shows up in this issue. Um, and Wolfsbane, Feral, to Man-Wolf, they all get trapped at this werewolf compound. Cap goes to investigate, and he's injected with the serum, turns into a werewolf. And then Cable shows up and starts shooting the werewolves. Anyway, it's just weird. But okay, the reason why I'm like, well, because I mean, this is actually Man and Wolf Part 6 of 6. Wow, so it's like a whole, mini series, so to speak. Um, but the reason why I paused because in one of the groups I'm in, it's like a Marvel Legends group, and people, I think it was in this group. I'm not positive though, because I'm in quite a few comic book groups now because I discovered that there's a lot of them on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, I should I should join all these. Um, and just yeah, because it's fun to see what other people post in terms of their collection, and to hear different people's opinions on different character storylines. One of the groups mostly does just a hey, who would win in this battle, this character versus this character, which I don't participate in those battles because there's so many variables in that, so many circumstances, and of course there's no right answer to those kind of things. So, because really, the power set depends on who's writing them at the time. So, you know, I mean, it could be either or. So I don't really comment or participate in those as much because yeah. Anyway, my point is that someone shared a really really cool Captain America werewolf action figure, that they either custom made themselves or had made. It was really cool. I had never seen anything like that. I thought, and someone did a really cool customized Feral figure too. I don't think we've actually gotten a figure of her, not a recent one for sure. But anyway, so that's what this makes me think of is that really cool action figure, custom action figure that someone posted. So okay, so there was a Marvel Edge imprint that they did trying to attract a different kind of reader, maybe a younger reader. I can't remember exactly. I don't remember that comic book line really. So they had Doctor Strange become a teenager because Doctor Strange was defeated by a being named Strange, and then he came back to life as a teenager. And yeah, he was supposed to be the start of that Marvel Edge or whatever line, and it didn't really take off. And then this Dakota North is basically like a PI, but basically she's a ripoff of Black Widow. I mean, they just kind of found her redundant, so to speak. Oh, so this Fantastic Four 5 is actually the first appearance of Doctor Doom, but they said it's lame because it's also the first appearance of Thing as a pirate. So Doctor Doom uses his time travel technology to send them back to the era of Blackbeard, in pirates. And so Thing dresses up like a pirate in this issue, which I'll have to see if I can find a picture of this online because it sounds hilarious. With hat, eye patch, a fake beard, and he thinks no one will notice that he has this rocky, craggy skin. Well, I guess same thing in the comic books. He has a kind of a big hat, a trench coat, and he thinks that's a good disguise. Thinks no one will, notice him. So, and then let's see, another Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four 297 thing. Thinks he's ugly, so he wears this big baggy spacesuit and helmet on his head, and he tries to escape and tries to commit suicide in space, but the Fantastic Four save him. And it says because I've never read this issue, I don't remember this issue, and it says that they accidentally blow up an entire uninhabited planet without even noticing, and the Shi'ar never put them on trial. What a joke! That was their little joke. Um, yeah. So I mean, I guess as long as it didn't have anyone on it, that makes a difference. And of course, with the origin of Jean Grey and Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, people have gone back and forth. Writers have in terms of, oh, well, there was nobody on the planet when she, destroyed it, when she, hungered, ate it, basically. And then there's also those that say, no, there were definitely people on it. Like she, I've, anyway, comic books, they can change depending on who writes them, regardless of what's been written in the past. So this is the first of Flash Volume 2, 143. Barry Allen's twin brother. So basically, separated at birth. His twin is mad that Barry got the life that he deserved, but, Barry beats him up. Flash, another one, this actually was like 9, 10, 11 issues, volume 2. This guy they're calling the Chunk, he's like a kind of like a black hole thing, and he starts spitting out diamonds at Flash. I mean, he Flash ends up in a like dimension or world where people eat each other, and he defeats the Chunk eventually by making him eat a bunch of trash. Yeah, it sounds messy. Yeah, for sure. And in an effort to make Guy Gardner more likable or something, because, in the comic books, he's written as kind of a jerk and nobody really likes him. Like, he's hardly anyone's favorite Green Lantern, I will say. I mean, I'm excited about him because Nathan Fillion is going to be playing him, and I love Nathan Fillion. I mean, I guess I don't see him being a jerk, but Nathan Fillion can definitely do the whole, kind of superior attitude sort of thing, cockiness. So I guess that's kind of probably where they're going to go with that. I mean, where they could, have him be a complete jerk. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Anyway, so they give him shape-shifting powers because he's apparently, his ancestors were a member of a race of shapeshifters, and so he can shapeshift his body into weapons, not just like using the ring, but his whole body. So weird. And speaking of Green Lantern, yeah. So let's see. I guess. Man, I don't know how I do this, but I apparently I talk a whole lot. So yeah, maybe I should cut this off. So just in case you're like, okay, I'm done. Um, there's gonna be a couple more, like maybe 10 more stories to talk about of like famous, like worst, really bad stories. So, if you want to join me for more of those, I hope you do. If you don't want to, it's okay. But I hope you, can subscribe to my channel and continue to like watch or at least check in because yeah, I'm hoping my project will be done soon. And like I said, I think it's really cool, and I hope you guys think it's really cool. I've been working on it for months now, and I hope that shows. Like when I finish, when I get to show you guys the project, because I think it's really cool. I'm pretty proud of myself, considering. Anyway, it won't make sense unless you see it. So, I hope you join me for the next video, and I'm gonna finish up these, really bad stories. So, including the one that they said was a horribly bad story that I don't agree with them. I think it's a great story. Like one of the best stories. So, I hope you join me for that video. Until next time. Bye.